Here we're going to tie the lightning bug. First thing we're going to do is start with some white thread. We're just going to lay a thin layer on the body. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some pheasant tail fibers for the tail. You only need about 4 or 5 or so. We want this tail to be about roughly the length of the straight part of the hook shank, maybe a hair shorter. We're going to tie those in, take our thread forward. The reason we're taking our thread forward is we want a nice smooth body. Now the next thing we're going to tie in is going to be some silver wire for the rib. I'm going to wrap this all the way back to the tail. Now we're going to tie in our tinsel. Here I'm using like a pearl tinsel. You can tie with silver, you can tie it with gold, you can tie it with several different colors. I like the pearl color out here on our rivers. Now you're just going to take this tinsel, you're going to slightly overwrap with each wrap as you go forward. If you get a little bump, I just kind of undo it and redo that wrap. I like it to be fairly smooth. Once you get up towards the bead there, you're just going to tie it off. I like to kind of double wrap over this stuff. It's really slippery. Likes to come unraveled on you sometimes. Now we're going to take that silver wire and we're going to counter wrap. Go the opposite way around. We wrap that holographic tinsel, that pearl tinsel. This helps lock down the tinsel and also gives it a segmented look. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our thread towards the bead, and we're actually going to tie in a darker thread. You can use a black or a brown. I'm tying in just a brown. Next you're going to take another piece of that pearl tinsel here. You're going to tie it right on top so it lays back. Just like so. Now it's time to tie in our thorax, which is just some peacock herl. Just take a strand of peacock. You can use more than one if you like. I like to just use one. I'm going to build up a thorax. Going to capture your piece of peacock. You're going to pull over your piece of pearl tinsel right over the top of the fly. You're going to trim out both of those, that tag end to the peacock and also the tag end to the tinsel. Now we need to tie in our legs. For this we just use pheasant tail, just like we did on the tail. And you take about 3-4 clumps. We're going to tie these in on each side. I usually tie them in long, just like so, and then I take the clump and pull it to my desired length. Once you do that on one side, you go ahead and do the same exact thing on the other here. Once again, I tie them in long. Just take it and pull them down to roughly where you want them. Gotta be careful not to make the legs too long. It's actually pretty easy to make them too long. You want them to be just a hair longer than the casing, the thorax. Then you just trim out the extra butt ends. Clean everybody up a little. And you can whip finish. And there is your little lightning bug. Very effective fly in high water, during runoff as well.